YouTube! What is up, guys? So today I am going to be bringing you a updated deck profile of my Satellarknights, actually. We just had my regionals here in Colorado the past weekend. I didn't do as good as I had hoped. I did really good. I went X3. It was, kind of a depressing story to start off. I started off really strong. I went like undefeated for the first 5 rounds and then kind of crashed and burned a little bit there, but I'm really happy with the deck. I made a few changes. Obviously, I went back to pure over the Star Seraph version. I feel like the pure version is still just much better than Star Seraph. Star Seraphs are fun and all, but you know, actual competitiveness, I think the pure Satellarknights are a much better option. So let's get into the deck profile really quick for you guys. So first off, obviously, for the monsters, Deneb is a 3-of. That just kind of goes without saying. She's the searcher, heart and soul of the deck, like always. You really need her. The triple Altair, the Monster Reborn that lets you basically one-card Exes, rank 4s. Really good, obviously, also another 3-of. In the pure build, I went to 3 Unical high, mainly because you have the space without all the extra cards like the Star Seraphs and whatnot in there. So, and he just helps you get to Deneb a lot faster, which obviously you need to do. You need to get to Deneb as quickly as possible, otherwise you run out of steam way too fast. You can't grab the resources and you just end up losing. And then my last 2 Stellar monsters, I'm still running Vega at 1. She's kind of my same justification. I run her at 1. It's the same as I run Mufile at one of my Medulliches. She's really cool, but special summons from the hand are awesome, but she just sucks so much to open up with. You can't usually do anything with her in the opening hand. She's so easily searchable that I feel like she's perfectly fine at just 1. So 1 Vega actually worked out incredibly well for me. I had no issues with it whatsoever. And then 1 Regal, just because Regal's kind of a baller when it comes to either, if not putting damage out on board, getting rid of things you don't want, such as Ginlock, Winda, helps you get around all of it. And then for the last few monsters, hand traps, I run 2 Maxis. Obviously it's really good just to have game 1 to try and stop plays. Not as good against Necros, but it does stop them usually from going through with their Ginlock if they have like the Manju, Sanju / Unicorn opening play for the Ginlock. A lot of times they may or may not go through with it depending on what's in their hand, because they don't know what you're playing hypothetically game 1. And then like against Ritual Beast, this thing is so clutch. Like no Ritual Beast player in their right mind will go through an entire Elder Conahawk loop under Maxi. And then the last 2 are Veilers. I like Veiler, and at the same time I really don't like Veiler. It was kind of a last minute decision to put her in there. But the reason why I did do it is because when I was at the YCS, there were a lot of times where I actually kind of wished I had a Veiler in my hand. So I switched to Veiler over a few extra traps that I had. So traps to hand traps, and it worked out incredibly well. I did like it. Veiler came in clutch a lot, especially my round 3 match was against Yang Zings. And once I finally managed to get his mistake off the board, he tried to Giatu, and then yeah, Veiler. Fantastic, obviously. So that is it for the monsters. Spells, still not that many in here. You got the triple Rhoda, obviously, just your search card, so help get to Deneb or whatever other Satellarknight you happen to want when you draw it. Pretty self-explanatory. Still run double MST. That actually came in handy so much during this weekend. Like, I can't tell you how many times I was so glad I had an MST ready for floodgates, like Mistake when I played Shadalls and Yang Zings, and Light Imprisonings if they sided them in, stuff like that. Royal Decrees when I was playing Necros. MST still always a staple in my mind. And then for a couple 1-ups, Book of Moon. Obviously, Book of Moon's such a good card, no reason not to. And Regeki, because why not? It doesn't hurt you at all whatsoever. So that is spells. Still not all that many. Now on to the traps. We got triple alpha still, obviously. This is this should go without saying. It's a solemn judgment essentially they'll let you draw. It's a great card. Any Satellarknight deck should be running it at 3. No reason not to. I love Alpha so much. It's probably one of my favorite counter traps. I mean, I may be a little biased because I'm playing the deck obviously, but love it. And then Triple Fiendish is still in here. Effect negation is just extremely important. Monster effect negation so important in this format with just a rampant amount of monster effects running around. You really do need them. And Fiendishes are just so good with Satellarknights because of how easily they are to abuse with Trigger. You just never run out of negation where you would like break through some Fiendishes. They're just pretty much gone once they hit their one-time use. Then Triple Call of the Haunted. Obviously, Satellarknight's Call of the abuse this card like none other. Same thing, Trigger, you can bounce it back. End phase, you just spam the field. Call of the Haunted is great. I did make the decision to up the Call of the Haunted count a little bit though, so I'm running 2 Oasis of Dragon Souls in here now. So, total of basically 5 Call of the Haunted. And at first, I was kind of on the fence about it. I didn't really want to. I've seen a lot of people putting in 2 Oasis into their Satellarknight decks, and I was afraid that like too many Call of the Haunted would clog, but I actually never really had a problem with them clogging. It actually helped my combos and all my plays get off a lot faster, being able to see a Call of the Haunted a lot sooner. And then Double Mind Crush, I did drop it down to 2 just to make room for stuff like Valor and the extra Oasis and stuff like that, but even at 2 it's still fantastic. Double Mirror Force still there to punish really overextensive plays. I mean, it won't hurt certain decks as much, like Shadal's and Burning Abyss obviously can play around it quite easily, but I still like it. It's really good, like I said, to punish for just overextending. And then for my last one of my big power 4, got the 1 Warning, still just good to have always. You never know when you might need it. 1 Vanity's Emptiness goes without saying. Just can't make sure your opponent can't special summon. Lock them out of the game, basically, to stun them out. I do run 1 Torrential, just because I don't really suffer from this. Like, if I were to Torrential, like Delsros and Trigger still get effects to special summon regardless, and I can wipe out their board if they are attempting to overextend, basically. So, still love Torrential. And then last trap is a Bottomless, just for stopping key summons. Those are all the traps. And as far as the extra deck, still run 1 Rhapsody. Rhapsody is just, like I said before, he's just great. There's really no downside to him being able to get rid of things in their graveyard. Necros is fantastic to get rid of mirrors and stuff. There's no reason not to run him. This is a new addition I added in after Cross Souls, the Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. He is fantastic, and I couldn't be happier with him. I have no problem making space for him in my extra deck. He's fantastic. If not, it's not just the ability to overlay a rank 5 on top of him, which is also good, by the way, but it's the fact that it's easier to make Tellarknight Exe, so it helps the Shadal and Burning Abyss matchup a lot more, because now Altair on his own equals a diamond. Because you know, obviously Altair didn't have overlay into this guy. End phase you can attach something, and then you can just overlay diamond on top of him, making it much easier to help you keep up in those matches, like especially against Burning Abyss. Like, they're just so fast that it helps to keep up with them. The 1 Cowboy. Cowboy is still good for just burn, and it's a stun deck too. So you always want to be able to have him there just in case you need to make some last few pushes. And then 1 Tsukuyomi still. Or not still. I actually didn't run this in my Star Seraph build just because there was no room for her. But I really love Tsukuyomi. She just helps net you so much advantage. Like, there's really no downside to running her in this deck. She helps you get rid of those brick hands like when they do happen, because they will happen occasionally. 1 Emerald, goes without saying, recycle your Altairs and all that. Then I did run 1 Lavalval Chain. This was basically mainly only there for side deck tech. I mean, it's kind of sad I had to put in waste an entire spot in my extra deck just for 1 side deck card. But Lavalval Chain was only in here basically because I started siding Spell Canceller in my sideboard. So I would dump the Spell Canceller with the Chain and then call the Haunted and back out for the Necros matchup. So when it comes to that aspect, Lovavel Chain does put in a lot of work, and I am still okay with this spot in the extra deck. Then Exton, obvious, need your reset buttons. Castell, also obvious, just rank 4 staple at this point. Get rid of problem cards, like Light Imprisoning, for example. Gandiva, great for the mirror match, excellent against Rogue. He's just fantastic against a lot of Rogue decks, and the mirror match, he's pretty killer too. So, no downside to running him. I still run one Honor Arc. I do like my just getting rid of problem monsters. I could run double Castell, but I still just personally prefer one Castell, one Honor Arc, because I like Honor Arc's effect to save himself under destruction. And 2 Trivers. Once again, that kind of goes without saying. Triver's pretty much the win condition of Satellarknight decks at this point. Just try and Triver loop them. It's really devastating, so he's an obvious 2 of. The one Deltaro still, in case you ever need to make him. He is just... Deltaros is a great card still, so I like him. He'll always have space in my extra deck for him, so. Another new addition, I have 1 Pleiades in here. And this is a combo I actually did a surprising amount of, like especially against a few of my rogue matchups, like Fire Fist, for example. Going Ptolemaeus into Pleiades is a great play, so if sometimes, like, you know, maybe you've gone through a Deltaros already and he's grave, and Triver is like not an optimal play. Like, I'll just give you an example. I played Fire Fist round 2 of my regionals, and I don't want to bounce back like his 2 tankies and Gyoku and help him get back in the game. So I made a Pleiades, or made Ptolemaeus, and then made a Pleiades off the Ptolemaeus, basically to stun him out of any other play he could possibly have at that point. Much better. Pleiades just puts in work. I like him. He's a great rank 5. And then the last one, still only 1 diamond. 1 diamond is enough for me, in my opinion. I don't really need to make 2 diamonds every, if I've ever, because usually if they manage to get past the 1 diamond, I've lost the game a lot of times. So having a 2nd diamond in there doesn't really do much for me. I just prefer him at 1 still. So anyways guys, that is my new updated Satellarknight deck profile. Let me know what you guys do think of it down in the comments below. Like and subscribe like always, and peace out.